Given I spend most of my time researching movies based on true stories, the genre I get most excited for is war movies, particularly those dealing with World War I and World War II. In this video, I'm going to reveal 10 upcoming war movies that will hit screens in 2024. And given that it is now early July 2024, we certainly have a more complete picture of all the war movies and miniseries arriving this year. First up is the Shamrock Spitfire, which was released on March 12, 2024. The film follows the true story of Irish fighter pilot Brendan Finucane, who is known by his nickname Spitfire Paddy. If you recall, Paddy was an affectionate nickname that was given to the courageous sons and daughters of Ireland who chose to fight in the war. At age 21, Finucane became the youngest ever wing commander in the Royal Air Force. He earned the title of Flying Ace and is credited with 28 aerial victories. He participated in the Battle of Britain, which the movie culminates with, and he was part of the Channel Front and the Kenley Wing. The Shamrock Spitfire, which was filmed on a tight budget and has unrecognizable actors, was a direct-to-VOD and DVD release, but don't let that deter you from checking it out. Despite its heavy reliance on CGI, it still offers considerable insight to a little-known World War II hero in Paddy Finucane. It also offers some insight into the relationship between Ireland and Britain at the time. I just noticed that you can currently watch the Shamrock Spitfire on Tubi right now at tubitv.com or via the Tubi app without even registering. So check it out if you have 2 hours to kill. And no, they are not a sponsor. The Anthony Hopkins film One Life was released in US theaters on March 15th. It tells the true story of Britain's Sir Nicholas Nicky Winton, a London stockbroker who saved more than 600 Jewish children from the Nazis just prior to the outbreak of World War II. Actor Johnny Flynn portrays Winton during his younger years when he visited Prague and raced to help the displaced families before the borders were closed. Anthony Hopkins depicts Winton later in his life, recreating the time that Winton appeared on the BBC television show That's Life and was surprised when he was introduced to some of the surviving children that he had saved, who were adults now. One Life can currently be rented or purchased on streaming platforms like YouTube, Amazon Prime Video, and Apple TV. Escape from Germany made its way into select theaters on April 11th. It tells the little-known true story of a group of American missionaries who were serving their church inside Germany at the start of World War II. As Hitler's army rapidly closed its borders in August of 1939 and German military preparations escalated, an effort was undertaken to move 85 LDS missionaries to safety in adjacent countries. The low-budget film draws from the personal diaries of the missionaries, some of whom were reluctant to leave. The film, which you could pay to watch via a website for a month from mid-June to mid-July, should be available via major streaming services soon. Guy Ritchie's The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, which shot its way into theaters on April 19th, depicts a heavily fictionalized account of Operation Postmaster, which was carried out by Winston Churchill's special operators that included the small-scale raiding force and the broader Special Operations Executive, which are considered some of the first modern Black Ops units. Led by Major Gus March Phillips, who is portrayed by Henry Cavill, the aim of the secret operation was to sail to the West African island of Fernando Po, then a Spanish colony, and capture 3 German and Italian ships in the harbor that were being used in the Axis war effort. The movie, which also stars Reacher's Alan Ritchson, racks up the body count in true Guy Ritchie fashion. As a result, it hardly adheres to the true story of the operation, which we explored in a recent History vs. Hollywood episode that I'll link at the end of this video and in the comments below. The movie can be rented or purchased from most major streaming services. The upcoming war movie Before Dawn will crawl out of the trenches and into theaters for a limited run on July 19th. The same day, it will also be available to stream. The film follows a young man from the Australian outback named Jim Collins, who leaves his family's sheep farm to fight on the Western Front during World War I. The movie showcases the perils of trench warfare, including the use of deadly poison gas and the emotional toll of battle. With each day that Collins and his fellow soldiers manage to stay alive, they forge a closer bond with the men around them as they dream of one day returning home. Though there is certainly a shortage of World War I movies, early reviews for Before Dawn haven't been great, with critics saying the movie doesn't do a convincing job depicting soldiers fighting on the Western Front. This one is right around the corner, so I'm interested in checking it out for myself. A week later, on July 26th, the Norwegian World War II film The Arctic Convoy will be released from Magnolia Pictures on video on demand, as well as in select theaters. The movie tells the story of a Norwegian cargo ship that is trying to get war materials through the Arctic Ocean to the northern port city of Murmansk in Russia. The ship is under constant attack from the Germans as its crew tries to navigate the icy waters. The movie is based on the Arctic convoys of World War II that sailed to northern ports in the Soviet Union as part of the Allies' commitment to help the Soviets in the war effort. The Last Front, a Belgium film which hits US theaters in limited fashion on August 9th, is set during the chaos of World War I and follows a grieving father named Leonard, who is portrayed by Game of Thrones star Ian Glenn. After the German invasion of Belgium, Leonard, who is a farmer, is hunted by a relentless German officer seeking vengeance. Leonard must evade him while leading villagers to safety. The movie is set during the early days of the German invasion, during what became known as the Rape of Belgium. It does not appear to be directly based on a true story, but instead builds on the short film A Broken Man that the movie's director released back in 2015. Kate Winslet headlines the movie Lee, coming to US theaters on September 27th. It chronicles a pivotal decade in the personal and professional life of US war correspondent and photographer Lee Miller. Working as a war correspondent for Vogue magazine, Miller, who was a former fashion model, became one of the top photographers during World War II. She covered events such as the London Blitz, the liberation of Paris, and the concentration camps at Dachau and Buchenwald. Lee also stars Josh O'Connor, Andy Samberg, Andrea Riseborough, Marion Cotillard, and Alexander Skarsgård. Blitz will premiere on Apple TV Plus on November 22nd. The movie tells the story of a 9-year-old boy named George who lives in London during World War II. His mother, Rita, portrayed by Saoirse Ronan, sends him to live in the safety of the English countryside, away from the German bombing campaign against the United Kingdom, in particular London. The bombing campaign, which was dubbed the Blitz, claimed more than 40,000 lives and destroyed more than 1 million homes. Young George is defiant and determined to return home to his mother and grandfather in East London. He runs away and embarks on a dangerous journey to reunite with his mother Rita, who sets out to search for him as the German bombs are falling around her. Blitz was written and directed by Steve McQueen, who is best known for directing the Academy Award-winning film 12 Years a Slave. Arriving in theaters that same day, November 22nd, is Bonhoeffer from Angel Studios. This is the same studio that released last year's hit Sound of Freedom and also the movie Cabrini earlier this year. Bonhoeffer tells the true story of German Lutheran pastor Dietrich Bonhoeffer, who stood up against the Nazi regime. In the film, Bonhoeffer is involved in the 20 July plot to assassinate Nazi dictator Adolf Hitler. The plot was part of Operation Valkyrie, which was orchestrated by high-ranking German military officers who wanted to remove Hitler and take control of the government. They believed Hitler was leading Germany to disaster. This was the same plot to assassinate Hitler that was the focus of the 2008 Tom Cruise film, Valkyrie. I would be shortchanging you if I didn't mention 2 World War II-based miniseries that arrived earlier in 2024 that are definitely worth watching. The 9-episode series Masters of the Air landed on Apple TV Plus on January 26, 2024. The limited series from executive producers Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg, who previously collaborated on Band of Brothers in the Pacific, focuses on airmen in the 100th Bomb Group during World War II. At the center of the story are Major Gail Buck Clevin, portrayed by Austin Butler, and his best friend, Major John Bucky Egan, portrayed by Callum Turner. With regard to historical accuracy, this series does an excellent job at depicting how dangerous and deadly it was to be part of a B-17 crew in the 100th Bomb Group. This group suffered staggering losses, so much so that it earned them the nickname The Bloody 100th. The other miniseries, which I also recommend, is Hulu's We Were the Lucky Ones that premiered on March 28th. It's based on Georgia Hunter's book of the same name, which tells the true story of her own ancestors and their struggle to survive as Jews in Poland after being separated at the start of World War II. Georgia Hunter's grandfather, Addie Kirk, is portrayed by Logan Lerman, and Joey King stars as Helena Kirk, Addie's sister. The miniseries is well done and has some truly harrowing moments as the family members try to evade death. Be sure to check out our History vs. Hollywood article to meet the real-life family on which the characters are based. I hope this video gave you some insight into the upcoming war movies in 2024, as well as those already released. If you found it helpful, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Anchors away, my friends.